Hello and welcome back to our chronological Bible in a Year reading plan. Today we are on day 151, and we have 1 Kings chapters 3 and 4, 2 Chronicles 1, and Psalm 72. 1 Kings 3 and 4 to start us off. 1 Kings chapter 3. And Shelomo joined in marriage with Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, and took the daughter of Pharaoh and brought her to the city of David until he had completed building his own house and the house of Yahuwah and the wall all around Jerusalem. Only the people slaughtered at the high places, for a house for the name of Yahuwah had not been built until those days. And Shelomo loved Yahuwah, walking in the laws of his father David, except that he had slaughtered and burnt incense at the high places. And the sovereign went to Gabon to slaughter there, for that was the great high place. Shelomo offered 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. At Gabon, Yahuwah appeared to Shelomo in a dream by night. And Elohim said, "Ask what I should give you." And Shelomo said, "You have shown great kindness to your servant David my father, as he walked before you in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have guarded for him this great kindness, and gave him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Yahuwah my Elohim, you have appointed your servant to reign instead of my father David. But I am a little child, I do not know how to go out or to come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Shall you then give to your servant an understanding heart to rule your people, to discern between good and evil? For who is able to rule this great people of yours?" And the word was good in the eyes of Yahuwah that Shelomo had asked this. So Elohim said to him, "Because you have asked this, and have not asked long life for yourself, nor have asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself discernment to understand right ruling, see, I shall do according to your words. See, I shall give you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you, and none like you shall arise after you. And I shall also give you what you have not asked, both riches and esteem, so that there shall not be anyone like you among the sovereigns all your days. And if you walk in my ways, to guard my laws and my commands, as your father David walked, then I shall prolong your days." And Shelomo awoke, and see, it was a dream. And he came into Jerusalem, and stood before the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, and offered up burnt offerings, and made peace offerings. And he made a feast for all his servants. Then 2 women, whores, came to the sovereign, and stood before him. And one woman said, "O my master, this woman and I dwell in the same house, and I gave birth while she was in the house. And it came to be, the 3rd day after I had given birth, that this woman also gave birth, and we were together. There was no one else with us in the house, only the 2 of us in the house. Then this woman's son died in the night, because she lay on him. Then she rose up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side, while your female servant slept, and laid him in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And I rose up in the morning to nurse my son, and saw he was dead. But I looked at him closely in the morning, and saw he was not my son, whom I had borne." And the other woman said, "No, but the living one is my son, and the dead one is your son." And the first woman said, "No, for the dead one is your son, and the living one is my son." And they spoke before the sovereign. And the sovereign said, "The one says, 'This is my son, who lives, and your son is the dead one.' Well, the other says, 'No, for your son is a dead one, and my son's a living one.' And the sovereign said, 'Bring me a sword.' So they brought a sword before the sovereign. And the sovereign said, 'Divide the living child in 2, and give half to one and half to the other.' And the woman whose son was living spoke to the sovereign, for she was overcome with compassion for her son. And she said, 'O my master, give her the living child, and by no means kill him.' But the other one said, 'Let him be neither mine nor yours, but divide him.' And the sovereign answered and said, 'Give the first woman the living child, and by no means kill him. She is his mother.' And all Israel heard of the right ruling which the sovereign had rendered. And they revered the sovereign, for they saw that the wisdom of Elohim was in him to do right ruling." And chapter 4. It came to be that sovereign Shelomo was sovereign over all Israel. And these were his chief officials: Azariah, son of Zadok the Kohen, which means the priest; Elahoreph and Ahiah, sons of Shisha, scribes; Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, the recorder; and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, over the army; and Zadok and Abiathar, the Kohanim, which means the priests. And Azariah, son of Nathan, over the officers, Zabud, son of Nathan, a Kohen, friend of the sovereign, and Ahishar over the household, and Adoniram, son of Abda, over the compulsory labor. And Shelomo had 12 governors over all Israel, who provided food for the sovereign and his household. Each one made provision for 1 month of the year. And these were their names: Ben-Hur in the mountains of Ephraim, Ben-Decker in Makat and Shaalbim, and Beth-Shemesh and Elon Beth-Hanan. Ben-Hesed in Aruboth, Soko and all the land of Hefer were his. Ben-Abinadab, all the height of Dor, Taphath, the daughter of Shelomo, became his wife. Baana, son of Ahilud of Ta'anak and Megiddo, and all Beth-Shean, which is beside Zarathan, below Yisreel, from Beth-Shean to Abel-Maholah, as far as the other side of Yokneam. Ben-Geber and Ramoth-Gilad, the towns of Yair, son of Manasseh, and Gilad were his. The portion of Argob and Bashan, 60 large cities with walls and bronze gate bars, were his. Ahinadab, son of Edo, and Mahanaim, Ahimaat, and Naphtali, he also took Basemath, the daughter of Shelomo, as wife. Baana, son of Hushai, and Asher, and an Eloth, Jehoshaphat, son of Paruah, and Yissachar, Shimi, son of Elah, and Benjamin, Geber, son of Uri, in the land of Gilad, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, and of Og, sovereign of Bashan, and 1 governor was in the land. Yehudah and Yisrael were as numerous as the sand by the sea, eating and drinking and rejoicing. And Shelomo was ruling over all reigns, from the river to the land of the Pelishtites, as far as the border of Mitzrayim. They did task work and served Shelomo all the days of his life. And Shelomo's food supply for 1 day was 30 cores of fine flour and 60 cores of meal, 10 fatted cattle and 20 cattle from the pastures, and 100 sheep, besides deer and gazelles and roebucks and fatted fowl. For he was ruling over all on this side of the river, from Tifsa even to Azza, over all the sovereigns on this side of the river. And he had peace on all sides round about him. And Yehudah and Yisrael dwelt safely, each man under his vine and his fig tree, from Dan as far as Beersheba, all the days of Shelomo. And Shelomo had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots, and 12,000 horsemen. And these governors, each one in his month, provided food for sovereign Shelomo and for all who came to the table of sovereign Shelomo. There was no lack in their supply. They also brought barley and straw to the appointed place for the horses and steeds, each one according to his right ruling. And Elohim gave Shelomo exceeding great wisdom and understanding, and largeness of heart like the sand on the seashore. And Shelomo's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the men of the east, and all the wisdom of Mitzrayim. For he was wiser than all men, than Athan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Calcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahal. And his name was in all the nations round about. And he spoke 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spoke of trees, from the cedar tree of Lebanon even to the hyssop that springs out of the wall. And he spoke of beasts, and of birds, and of creeping creatures, and of fish. And there came from all peoples, from all the sovereigns of the earth, who had heard of his wisdom, to hear the wisdom of Shelomo. Solomon is super cool. Okay, 2 Chronicles, chapter 1 now. Let's see, where are we at? Alright. And again, clarify. Chronicles translates to... Okay, where am I at? Annals of Time.
What chapter?
2 Chronicles, chapter 1. Okay. 2 Chronicles, chapter 1. And Shelomo, son of David, strengthened himself over his reign, and Yahuwah his Elohim was with him, and made him exceedingly great. And Shelomo spoke to all Yisrael, to the commanders of the thousands and of the hundreds, to the judges, and to every leader in all Yisrael, the heads of the fathers. And Shelomo and all the assembly with him went to the high place that was at Gabon, for Elohim's tent of appointment was there, which Moshe the servant of Yahuwah had made in the wilderness. However, David had brought up the ark of Elohim from Kiriath Yearim to the place David had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it in Jerusalem. And the bronze altar that Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, had made, he put before the Mishkan of Yahuwah, which is the tabernacle, right? Mishkan or temple? Tabernacle. Tabernacle. And Shelomo and the assembly sought it. And Shelomo went up there to the bronze altar before Yahuwah, which was at the tent of appointment, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. That night Elohim appeared to Shelomo and said to him, "Ask what I should give you." And Shelomo said to Elohim, "You have shown great kindness to David my father, and have made me sovereign in his place. Now, Yahuwah Elohim, let your promise to David my father stand fast, for you have appointed me to reign over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now, give me wisdom and knowledge, so that I go out and come in before this people. For who rightly rules this great people of yours?" And Elohim said to Shelomo, "Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked riches or wealth or esteem or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, so as to rightly rule my people over whom I have appointed you to reign, wisdom and knowledge are given to you, and riches and wealth and esteem I also give to you, such as none of the sovereigns have had who have been before you, nor have any after you." And Shelomo went to Jerusalem from the high place that was at Gabon, from before the tent of appointment, and reigned over Israel. And Shelomo gathered chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot cities and with the sovereign in Jerusalem. And the sovereign made silver and gold to be as stones in Jerusalem, and he made cedars to be as plenty as the sycamores which are in the low country. And Shelomo had horses imported from Mitzrayim and from Qa, or Q, I guess, Q-U-E, I don't know, Q. And the sovereign's merchants brought them in Q at a price. And they came up and brought from Mitzrayim a chariot for 600 pieces of silver, and a horse for 150. And so for all the sovereigns of the Hittites and the sovereigns of Aram, they brought them out by their hand. And now, we wrap up today with Psalm 72. Who doesn't love a good old psalm? Psalm 72. To Shelomo. O Elohim, give the sovereign your right rulings, and your righteousness to the son of a sovereign. Let him rule your people with righteousness, and your poor with right ruling. Let the mountains bring peace to the people, and the hills by righteousness. Let him rightly rule the poor. Let him rightly rule the poor of the people, save the children of the needy, and crush the oppressor. Let them revere you before the sun, and before the moon, in all generations. Let him come down like rain upon the mown grass, like showers watering the earth. Let the righteous flourish in his days, with plenty of peace till the moon is no more. And let him rule from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. Let those dwelling in the desert bow before him, and his enemies lick the dust. Let the sovereigns of Tarshish and the isles, let the sovereigns of Tarshish and of the isles bring presents. The sovereigns of Sheba and Seba offer gifts. And let all the sovereigns bow down before him, all nations serve him. For he delivers the needy when he cries, and the poor who has no helper. He spares the poor and needy, he saves the lives of the needy. He redeems their life from oppression and from violence, and their blood is precious in his eyes. And he shall live, and the gold of Sheba be given to him, and prayer be made for him continually. Let him be Baruch all day long, which means be blessed all day long. Let there be plenty of grain in the earth, on the top of the mountains. Let its fruit wave like Lebanon, and those of the city flourish like grass of the earth. Let his name be forever, his name continue before the sun, and let him barak themselves in him. Let all nations call him Baruch. Baruch be Yahuwah Elohim, Elohim of Yisrael. He alone is doing wonders. And Baruch be his esteemed name forever, and let all the earth be filled with his esteem. Amen and amen. The prayers of David the son of Yishai are ended. And that concludes our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining. I hope you are reading along with me, and may peace and blessings and love be bestowed upon you. See you in the next one.